My name is Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan. And today we're continuing our video series designed to educate and inform the public, so please subscribe to our channel. A lot of times people think or wonder whether or not they need an attorney whose cultural and religious background is the same as those of the parties. So for example, somebody who is a Jewish person married to a Jewish person might wonder, do I need to have a Jewish lawyer? And you have to understand that the court in general is looking at your divorce without the format of a religious background. The court is looking at it with the idea of separation of church and state, so to speak. So the issues in your case are likely to be, in the predominant measure, the same as in every single case, irrespective of the religious inclinations of the parents. So do you need a Jewish lawyer if you happen to be Jewish? Probably not. In most cases, any lawyer of any particular persuasion would be able to assist you in dividing up the issues and in handling custody, parenting, time support. Now, let's say there's something very specific in your level of observance that make you feel that a Jewish lawyer might not understand the delicate nature of your concern. Maybe it has to do with whether or not your child goes to a particular synagogue or a particular school, or this Jewish school versus that one, or the difference between someone who's of an Orthodox persuasion versus a Reform persuasion within the idea of the Jewish religion. So you may think that maybe you need a lawyer who is of the same ilk in order to do that. I would say even for that you probably don't. I mean, the key is to make sure that the judge understands the distinctions and whether or not those distinctions are significant. Let me give you an example. This is a true life example where a person who was Jewish, who was raised in an Orthodox persuasion, marries somebody who was not raised Orthodox, but who becomes more observant in order to actually go through with the marriage. In other words, the more religious, more devout spouse, the husband, insisted that the soon-to-be wife take on more religious responsibilities in order so that they would be aligned. Well, that works great, and they're married and they have children, it's fine. Now the children are being raised in a strictly observant household. But then there's a divorce. And now there's a divorce, the issue becomes the wife no longer is interested in maintaining that level of observance, wants to go back to her less observant ways. But the question is, how do we raise the children? In a situation like this, does the husband need a more devoutly religious attorney? Does the wife need one? Does the wife need one that's more aligned with her religious persuasion? Probably not. In this case, the case went before an Oakland County judge who was not even Jewish to begin with. The challenge became to explain to the judge what the difference was in how the child's being raised. The judge was fully capable of seeing the importance of one thing versus another thing, and whether or not we're going to confuse the child by raising the child who was in a more restrictively religious environment, and now taking him and saying, okay, with dad, we're splitting the custody, so the child's with dad, he goes to the temple when mom doesn't have to. I mean, how do you do that? Now, in this particular case, the court, believing that it would be confusing to the child, and believing that the child had been raised in a more orthodox environment throughout his life, felt that the custody should go with the dad to continue that level of religious observance, and not with the mom, who already indicated she's going back to the way she was before. She has every right to do that, but in terms of what's in the best interest of the child, the court felt that would just be confusing to the child, and so left the child with the dad. It wasn't necessary to have a particularly Jewish lawyer or a religiously Jewish lawyer in that case, so long as the parties could explain to the judge what the issues were, what the problem was, and why it made sense, at least according to the dad, to keep the child with him. The mother argued that it wouldn't make sense. In that particular case, the court gave the father the custody. So it wasn't a situation of needing a Jewish lawyer or not. It was more of a situation of being able to have any kind of lawyer effectively communicate to the judge what the issues are. And I would say that there are many lawyers across the religious spectrum all over the state who are eminently qualified to do that. If you have any questions about your case, reach out and we'll be glad to help you out.